Well, hello and good morning, Brickheads. Welcome to a YouTube-only bonus video for the Imagination Brick Shop's podcast series. This video is all about the BrickLink Designer Series 9 selections, and more specifically, my follow-up interview with BrickLink designer Eric Nowicki. So this is a really fun episode. Eric is going to go over all of what his picks were, and we compare what my picks were to his. Spoiler, he did better than I did. But he also is going to go into a little in depth about the behind the scenes of the BrickLink Designer Program, as well as his thoughts on what we're going to see coming out in Series 10. So I will say, little disclaimer on this episode, reason it's only a YouTube-specific episode is there were some sound issues and some technical difficulties trying out new stuff, trying to get better at the interview process, and sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes it just doesn't work that well. So I would love for you to leave me comments down below. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like, how I can grow and continue to do better in the technology so we can present you with more higher quality interviews in the future. But with that, like I say, I just wanted to front load you with that and just hope you enjoy the episode. Till then, I'll catch you later, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye. All right. Well, hey, we are back. Welcome to another podcast. I am interviewing and chatting with Eric Nowicki. Eric, welcome back to the podcast, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Hey, how are you doing?
Can't complain. It's getting colder, so building more sets.
Well, that's what you say when you're from up north. When you're down here in Houston, it never gets colder. It just is always 80. So, but I could use a little cold weather right now. But how you doing in the world of Lego, man? Get any good sets lately?
Right now, my 6-year-old and I are building the Ninjago City Market that we got earlier in the year. Classic. And he's also building the Blacktron Renegade. So I'm helping him out with that. We kind of build together. So
Classic.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, those are two really, really good sets. Do you get any BrickLink sets lately?
I've got a stockpile. I missed out on the Lion Knights castle, so I think I'm gonna have to crack into my Mountain Fortress that I've been waiting to build anyways. So
got your hands on that. I still have the Riverside Scholars by Hamas. Mm-hmm. I actually have a Parisian restaurant that I don't know if I'm gonna open. But yeah, I really want to break open Riverside Scholars. I actually want to combine it with the Mountain Windmill. So
yeah. Well, I've also the Mushroom Village arrived, a couple weeks ago or whatever when those shipped. I had that one. I actually have the catapult or the other one from Brickhammer. That's the siege encampment.
The siege encampment.
Yeah, and then
the trebuchet.
Yeah, and then on order, my son and I looked, and it was between the Wolfpack, bandits hideout or whatever, and then the Sequoia tree one, and we went with the Sequoia tree one. So I'm actually really excited about that one because that's kind of a nature set, and that's kind of something different that kind of is what the BrickLink program's about. At the end of the day, it's not all about castles in Western.
Well, I mean, castle and Westerns do sell, but that was that Peace on Earth, I think, was the person who designed the Sequoia. That set is huge.
Yeah. Well, and I like this before the last ordering period or whatever, which I'm glad that they also just dropped it down to a week. That made so much more sense too. They did a lot more kind of like reviews. They have given like some stuff out to the YouTube community. Some of the guys or some of the YouTubers they've given samples to build like pre-production stuff. And I think I don't think people realize, or like these companies really realize, like when you see something like that, because they did, I remember one of the things that sold me on it was they did like a quick, maybe like less than 5-minute like YouTube video BrickLink did. And it was of them talking about the Sequoia set. And I was like, you look at how tall it is. Pictures are hard. So
yeah, for sure. And it is definitely a unique set. I saw the The Star Wars YouTuber, I can't remember his name, but he got the pre-order of Adventures in Transylvania.
Hmm.
And I saw him do
Yeah,
his little 5-minute clip on that. I'm just like, man, that's a good looking set. So,
yeah. I think at the way it happens, I believe, because I've watched Brick Fanatics and Solid Bricks, like M&R and all
Salt Brick
them too.
Studios.
Yeah, along with you, of
Wait,
course.
wait, wait. Yes, I think it wasn't. It is Solid Brick Studios. I think they got
Yeah,
the AIT set. But yeah,
and I think when Lego invites people to Billund or whatever for their press media day or whatever, I think that's when you can put in a request. At least I think that's what the what's his name at Brick Fanatics has said. Like he puts in a request or whatever, but they kind of rotate through like a large list that they've kind of accumulated.
got
So
it.
you should get your name on that list.
Yeah, well, hey, maybe one day I'll be big enough to actually do that. Maybe it'll be interviews like this that will get me there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but hey, let's talk about Series 9. You know, you had your we got the winners. Those came out last Thursday. And you had your set submitted, didn't get it picked, but I saw you had a lot of positive feedback in your comments.
Yeah, and when I was designing it, I knew that obviously the pirate community is really supportive. Just like most of the like castle community is, space
That
can
does
be.
sound funny when you say it. The pirate community.
Yeah, I mean they've got their own like they've got, especially if you go on Eurobrick or whatever,
Mhm.
they started there and they've mitigated to like their own. They obviously have like a Facebook page and things like that, but they
Yeah.
actually have like their own website now,
Okay.
and where
But
they
they're
where they
super supportive.
where they'll support not just mine. Like I reached out to them and said, hey, like I'm doing, and they supported they listed every single pirate related set, and which really helps elevate and gives you the good thing about that is you do get a lot of feedback because you get some feedback in the comments, but
Hmm.
then you can also get feedback on the back end of stuff, and that's kind of a good measuring stick or whatever. The biggest thing that I think probably hurt mine the most was the skeletons, which I knew kind of going in that I
You
had to,
think?
and
I thought that was
we had
pretty creative.
yeah, I thought we talked about it was a creative way around it. The issue is with the BrickLink program, it's just so minifigure driven. They've only had one set selected that is not minifig scale. No, two because of the robot. So they've got the robot and they've got the antique,
The
the
antique cabinet.
yeah, with the chair, and I
Hmm.
think there's like a side table.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the only two, and I think those are in the same series.
I think
So,
yeah.
so that's kind of one of the things is like it's pretty, and I think there's actually minifigures in that antique cabinet, if I'm not mistaken.
I
So
think
I don't know
there's
what the
some
final
like
one.
minifigure heads, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it,
gonna do while we're chatting? I'm gonna pull up my screen share, and that
yeah,
way we can look at some of these while we're talking. How does that sound?
yeah, that's great.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, so with mine, I knew that would kind of be an uphill battle. I kind of tried to get creative with everything. We talked through the design and everything. So I'm just hoping maybe next series they come out with some usable minifigs that I can incorporate into it to make it a little more mini minifig friendly, I suppose. Because some of the counts, I mean, it is true. It was on one end, it didn't count towards the minifig number, which would have driven the cost of the set down, I believe.
Mhm.
But the backside was, well, you're only getting like three minifigures, so you're like, and they're pirates, so you're like, oh, what do you get to do?
So I got bad news.
Yeah,
Apparently, I'm trying to present and just use the thing, and it brings up the screen, but it wants me to write on it. So, oh well, we're gonna stop presenting like that, and we're just gonna bring it up the old-fashioned way. So,
works for
um,
me.
I'm gonna bring up your your set, the Azure Islands, so just people can see the set that we are talking about because I just thought it was a good set, and but I get what you're talking about with the skeletons. I'm going to bring it up real quick. Sorry, I'm multitasking, just not very well. But yeah, Azure Islands, you can't see it right now. But what I have is I'm basically showing everybody you've got your troop of skeletons with all of
Yeah,
their crossbows and they're carrying their king. It looks pretty cool, man. I'm just saying,
yeah,
it was a neat set. Like I said, and so many little Easter eggs in there that I thought were very very cool for sure.
yeah. And one of the other things that came back was, which again, this is the good thing about the BrickLink program. You know, you can make updates on Lego ideas kind of like live as you're going. The BrickLink program is a little more different in that regard, where you have to wait until a whole nother series to kind of submit it.
Mm-hmm.
The other feedback that I got was that the center part of the model, they just wanted, some people were just saying maybe add something in there, you know, not just the main hut, or the throne hut room. Maybe do something, add a little more beef to it, which in my head I always kind of have a target for the amount of parts that I want to use. I want to keep it, because you roughly assume 10 cents a part, which is, BrickLink program typically runs actually less than that. It's normally between like 7 and 9,
I
I
was gonna
believe.
say it's usually a lot cheaper than regular sets,
Yeah,
not just IPs, but even the usual 10 to 11 cents.
yeah. So I was just kind of thinking, I wanted to keep it affordable. That was always kind of my goal. That's kind of where I typically design my sets, anyways, is to make sure that they're affordable, and I go in with a rough idea of where my absolute max is going to be, and where I know my minimum's definitely going to be, based on the different parts that I want to incorporate into it.
Got
So,
it. Got it. Well, hey, that's also let's talk real quick about the Series 9 winners.
mhm.
For people who are tuning in right now, I'm going to let you know that I had my picks, which none of mine that I picked got selected, which is not surprising. There are 432 or what 436 different sets
Yeah,
out
there were a
there.
lot. There were a lot.
Absurd, and the number of castles, I think I was like 128 or something, like different castles that were like
Yeah.
medieval theme based. So lot to choose from for sure. So I was not surprised that none of mine got selected, but they're all really really good. You, on the other hand, you did get one selected. You want to tell everybody which one you did pick? And I will tell it. Let me preface with uh, Eric, for you listening, for you watching, Eric actually sent me his picks before the
Hmm.
Thursday reveal. So this is a legit, like, all right, you did it, you got it. So go ahead, I'll let you tell everybody which one you nailed.
So the one that I was sure so it was going to be was the Fisherman's Village. Um, and that one actually, I believe, according to the stream, was the first co-designed submission
Oh,
based off of
really?
what they were talking. Yeah, I think it was two brothers that designed that one. You could go back and look at the stream, because I think they interviewed both of them, or at least one of them.
Okay,
But
I didn't get a
if
chance to watch it. I was working
yeah,
Saturday.
so just looking at that, I mean, Lego doesn't really do that much like fishing related stuff, or like, to me it kind of reminds me of like the East Coast, the upper or the Northeast,
Well,
and into Canada.
I think it said it in his description. He had a fixation on America and that small East Coast town. So he was
Yeah,
thinking like a Maine, the state of Maine, coastal town, and this was his inspiration.
yeah, and the one of my other favorites was the Lego Ideas, the
The
was it the
lighthouse
fish?
or the fisherman's one?
I actually have both of them, but the Fisherman's one was amazing. That was like old, like a long time
Yeah, we're
ago.
talking like a decade ago for that.
Yeah, that one, that was a great one, and everyone loved that one.
Hmm.
And then the Lighthouse comes out, and I think this fits right into that whole, especially a lot of people that buy BrickLink sets are like building towns,
Yeah.
and so this like fits just perfectly fits into it.
Well, and not this that it included everything you would want. You know,
Mhm.
if you're trying to include a coastal scene in your city, you not only have these really colorful buildings, cool little color schemes going on, but you got a boat and you got a whole lighthouse too.
Yeah, and actually, there's I don't know if you can go to the picture. One of the pictures that shows the inside of one of it, it's like a museum of like previous, like the Titanic's in there. I think the lighthouse is in there.
I
They're
have
like
the main
micro.
picture up right now. I wish I could toggle better.
Yeah,
For those of you watching,
you
sorry,
can insert
I'm
it.
using
Insert
Google
it.
Meets for the first time and I'm learning on the fly. So, but yeah, it's I have the
Yeah,
main picture up.
yeah. So that one's a cool one. So I remember as soon as as soon as it opens up, I just go, I think it's this, they talk about how exciting it is when they open up the first day, and for like 2 weeks they get to see people submitting their designs and everything. And I think that, I mean, that would be sweet to see. They got to go through 430 some designs that you don't know what you're going to get.
Oh,
And
100%. Wait, are you there?
yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
pulling up the I'm pulling up the can you see the screen sharing better?
yeah, yeah,
So the inside parts of it, it just really is an overall pretty impressive set. And you got the whole
yeah,
lighthouse that goes with it. You know, I think I missed on this one, honestly. And oh, and I gotta say, I love this. The little micro versions of not only ship in the bottle, but there
mhm,
is the Fisherman's Wharf hut that you were talking about.
yeah,
The Endurance, the what we got the Globe, Titanic, and the motorized lighthouse. I mean,
yeah. I mean, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this one's going to win.
yeah,
It hits every single part of a BrickLink set.
it's a really good call on your part. I think I didn't pick it only because there were so many castles of the large scale.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you've seen my episodes, how I break it down, and how I think BrickLink always breaks it down. They have that one small set, couple in the medium range, and a couple big ones. The big ones, just overwhelmingly Series 9, I thought were just castle after castle, and I just was like, all right, this is where I'm gonna call it for castles, and I was definitely wrong there. But
Yeah. No, I thought obviously the list I sent you, the next one, there's typically going to be a castle that
mhm.
or a castle themed set that gets picked, and obviously they did not go with the castle. They didn't go with the castle or one of the new factions. And thinking about this for a couple days or whatever, reading people's comments, and if you look kind of like at just the way I look at it, you can scroll down and you see that we have Driftmark or whatever is the series before.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Or
go ahead and I'm gonna go to the Driftmark Keep right now, real quick. Driftwood Keep.
Yeah, so we're getting a castle the series before this one, and what I've been, this is the one that had the most comments, which
Well,
you
and
can take that for what it's worth.
it's a
But
Brickhammer set too, and Brickhammer's a
yeah,
really popular designer. I mean, has he? I think he's had what, two or three selected by now, right?
I think he's had. I think he's had two. I think Sleepless Nights had three. He
Maybe.
had some.
I know
He had the
Brickhammer's
trebuchet.
got at least
He had the
two,
castle.
but yeah,
No,
Driftwood
Sleepless Nights
Keep.
had three because I think his was Hotel Transylvania, the Siege Encampment, and the Mountain Fortress. I'm pretty sure
Well, I
off the
think
top of my
one of
head.
them may have had something back from the 2021 stuff too, but we
Yeah,
digress a little bit. But yeah, no, Driftmark Keep is absolutely incredible. The color scheme is really good. Honestly, that whole top part of Driftwood, it reminds me of the Hanwha's like observatory sets, the way they do that little medieval setting.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
but I've been thinking about this for
okay.
they released the stuff on Thursday, so
Hmm.
it's Sunday. We're recording this on Sunday, so I we're getting a Castle Series 8. the series before that is series 7. And so in there, I believe we're getting, that's the Alchemist shop or the Alchemist
We are
one.
getting the Alchemist shop by Shram. We're getting the
Yeah.
Frigate Fortuna. We're getting Walt, the sushi restaurant. That's where we're getting that antique collection, and the Alchemist shop.
And I think what they decided to do, they looked at the votes and how, going within their criteria of what they've stated to everybody. I think they were targeting a different scale to go with the Alchemist shop and to go with the blacksmith, the Lego Ideas blacksmith cottage or whatever it is, and knowing that we're getting that a castle is going to be available next series.
So so your prevailing theory is series 10. We are getting a castle no matter what.
I think they'll probably do some. I think they'll probably do a castle of some kind. It will have. I think it will be a castle, and I think what they're doing is they set castle, the medieval theme, however you want to describe it, has 2 different scales. Like if you look within Lego, the medieval blacksmith is at a different scale than the Lion Knight's castle.
Right.
And so I think what in BrickLink coming out with the Alchemist shop is they did that one, and then the inn for series 9 is essentially the same scale as the Alchemist shop and the medieval blacksmith. And then the other castles that have come out, Mountain Fortress, was Driftwood something, those are to scale with the Lion Knight's castle. Hotel Transylvania is not really a castle. Yeah. And I think between that and then the other theory is that Lego is giving us next year a new castle, and that castle is going to be one of those themes, either the snakes, the
Kraken or
the Griffin, because they already have whatever the
wolf one.
No, the new castle that just came, the new Creator 3-in-1 that came out this year. I forget what faction that is. It's the blue.
Remember. I can't ever keep them straight.
Yeah, it's got a white horse on it. I think on like a blue shield. So I think what they're doing is because within BrickLink they're not allowed to release something that's similar to that would be a conflict with what the Lego group is doing, which doesn't make sense.
But to be fair, you're not going to get Series 9 stuff till March of 27.
Yeah.
So Series 10, that would definitely put it far enough out. Series 10, you're probably getting in summer of 2027, maybe October of 2027, actually getting it in your hands. So that would make a lot of sense if they released an actual Lego castle next year, and then the following fall, they get back to having a BrickLink castle.
Well, and because they may not have decided which faction they're using. This is hypothetical. This is just
sure. Yeah. Well, this is all we do is hypotheticals, right?
So they may not know which faction they're using. They may know that they're doing a castle. They may have because everything takes like a couple a year or two to design. And they just retired Lion Knight's castle. Right. So we're probably gonna get something. If we don't get something, we'll probably get something in BrickLink next.
Well, and it's something that I talked about in last week's episode of just the simple fact of truly, I think they just need to bring medieval or castle back. And they need to find ways to have Lego release official castle sets in their own couple factions and then just leave the other factions towards BrickLink. Because that's really...
I think it's the same. You can make the same argument for why don't we have Western sets? Like the next set we can talk about is the blacksmith.
I will tell you, here's my theory on that. I don't think they sell.
Yeah, they may not.
I think, okay, so I was looking at for example, the Wild West Blacksmith. I'll bring up the Wild West Blacksmith. That is a Series 9 winner, an absolutely gorgeous set, right? Give me 2 seconds. Let me bring this bad boy up. Do you say L Lucky or do you say La Lucky? Because it's really funny every time I say La Lucky.
I think I say Lucky.
La Lucky. But
he should come on here and tell you exactly how
he should totally let us know. Okay, so I just want this up and sharing it with everybody so they can see the set that I'm talking about. This is a gorgeous set. Like, there's just no doubt about it. It is a perfect, iconic Wild West scene. Like, I find nothing wrong with the set. I don't think this set's going to hit 30,000.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think this is a set, and this goes back to a previous point. This is a set for someone that has a Western part of their town or collection, and the fact that Western was such a short-lived theme of Lego, and partially controversial with how it ended with the sets that they released. Lego would probably never do those.
No, I don't think they would. I think it'd be way too controversial. But I also
the first wave was fine. I think the first wave with the fort and the sheriff's like that, and the bank robbers, that's fine.
They run a really, really tight line as soon as they start including Native Americans, basically.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to. But it also just goes back to what is selling. And I really think there is a small contingent of people that love Wild West. Like, they think it's the greatest thing ever. And I love that for them. I just think the sheer number of people is small compared to, say, medieval fans.
Yeah.
Or even pirates.
Well, I think medieval is
bigger than Wild West.
Yeah, I think medieval is the largest, and then from there it's either pirate or space. Depends on who you talk to. That one's kind of who you talk to.
I would probably argue that space is more popular than pirates, but I was when I was talking about how they should bring back the classic themes, people were commenting. They were saying, and I don't know if this is true or not, they were saying the Star Wars IP agreement basically killed space. And that they would have nothing else for the space theme that wasn't like actual astronaut, like NASA space, because NASA space was realistic.
I don't know how true that could be, because they released so much, like this last year they released almost like 10 space within the city theme.
Right. But, well, that's my point. Is it's in the city theme. It's no longer a space theme, or any of the NASA stuffs in like Icons or Technic or the Renegade or Benny's spaceship. Those are all separate things, but it's not an actual space theme. And people are like, space theme will never come back, but pirates could.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Well, but see. Yeah, I guess they probably don't want it cannibalizing like Pirates of the Caribbean or because even like medieval.
Is Caribbean really a thing?
I would say I would argue it. I would prefer Lego, makes more affordable ships and more affordable locations, islands, and things like that. But that's. I don't work at Lego, right? But
how's that for a democratic answer? I'll say it for you. The Black Pearl, even though it's not called the Black Pearl, is way too much money.
Oh yeah. Well, I think their whole way of looking at things has kind of shifted, because it's who has the money, who has the money, and who's going to buy the set. Yeah. And most of it is 25 to 45-year-olds now that have their own expendable income or whatever, and that's us. So
right, I talk about this nonstop. I'm like, Lego's not for kids.
You had your Lego haul the other day.
Right? I'm like, Lego is for adults, and they just hope while the adult is at the Lego store, they're going to buy their kid a few sets too. It's always funny to me that people that comment on videos, they're like, Lego's a kid's toy. I'm just like, you don't pay attention at all to the market
No.
or what they're doing. Like, go into a Lego store and half the wall is covered in 18 plus sets.
Yeah. Which my
It's
6-year-old can build 18 plus sets.
right.
It's not like
Right.
rocket
It's so funny.
science.
This 300 piece set is an 18 plus build.
Yeah.
It's not. The
No.
moniker is way overused.
Yeah.
But so here, I guess, we're getting a little long in the tooth. I do want to ask, of these sets, do you see any of these from Series 9 that you are eyeing, that you're going to be buying?
See, Series 9, probably not.
Okay.
I'm I had obviously everyone's got their own personal budget on what they want to spend, and
Sure.
I was looking at I looked at Series 9. I mean, there are some the Fisher. Obviously, when you have a 4,000 piece set, it looks amazing. You
Right.
can all those 4,000 piece castles. It would probably be very hard to choose any one of them, and so probably not. I think the designers all did a great job. Like I think the pumpkin patch is like 600 parts or less than that or whatever. I think they used which I think might be a new part. I don't know if they use that like jack-o'-lantern. It's like right there on the front right.
Yep. I
It's
see exactly what
just
you're talking about. That jack-o'-lantern's cool, by the way. It is 565 pieces.
yeah.
Too many
And
things.
that's a great set. And even though like yes, a lot of those parts BrickLink in general, you could argue a lot of parts that people use are like throwaway parts.
Sure.
That's Lego in general. Like you could make something from throwaway parts, but I think
Kind of the
they
beauty of
did a
it.
good job. Yeah, they did a good job. Western's not really my thing. I did that Prairie Fort because I like Western forts, but not like the whole. Like I'm not a big train person, so I don't really get into like there. I think Lucky did he do the train that was on the truss or whatever
Yes.
that was like
Lucky
it was like
did.
series 1 or 2 or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was the Wild West train. I think it was Series 4. Let me look it up.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
one
the
the one
Wild
thing
West train.
yeah the one thing I wish. I mean, there's a couple of things I wish with the BrickLink program that they would do. The biggest thing as a consumer is that I wish that they looked at the themes like Western and were like, okay, do we need another 2,500, 3,000 piece Western set? Or could we do a sub 1,000 piece? Like it was a post office and stagecoach.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing looking set. And if you look at it from like designing that was less than 1,000 pieces. I think it might have been less than 800 pieces, whatever it was. A lot of detail in a very small footprint. And there are a lot of people that are into Western that can probably only afford like one big set every so often.
Right.
Or like
And
Castle.
this would be a $70 or $60
Yeah.
affordable set that they can actually get.
The list I sent you, because I also sent a list before we talked of my favorite sets. One of my favorite sets is the Wizard's Tower, that it's like crooked that goes up.
Yeah. That was actually for series. It was either series or 7 or 8 that I actually picked that one as one of my winners.
Yeah.
Because he has redone it each series, but it's a great looking set.
He had because he was on the in between series. They just started this last time. They do like where we can ask questions and like they can talk like live in like an open forum about things. And he was on there and he was talking about the arm to make sure it's stable. That was one of the problems that they had with it when he had it first submitted, and he fixed it. And that's what 2,200 parts.
It is. Let me look. It is 2,490 pieces. We're talking about. I'll let people look this up by themselves if they are interested. The set we're talking about is the Wizard's Tower by Ziegel 0802, and it's almost 2,600 pieces. Gorgeous set.
And that's an example of we don't always need a 4,000 piece castle. I love
Right.
4,000 piece castles.
Yeah, they always look good.
I got a Mountain Fortress. I missed out on Lion Knights because it was only available for like 5 years, and I
Right.
what are you gonna do? You miss out,
It
but
happens.
like that would be a great, affordable set. I mean, obviously it's still expensive, but it's more affordable than.
Yeah.
And I wish that they would look at that a little bit more, like from series to series, because you have the data. Like I don't know if there's another Western set that's available, that's going to be coming up, but they have probably whatever the last one was that they did. I just I think with Train they do a little bit better, because I think the Train set that they picked, which is the fifth one, I guess the one that we haven't talked about, I think that one's a little more affordable than
the wood brick. Freight Depot. That is a little more affordable. That'll probably end up being around $200. But yeah, in Series 8, technically we had the locomotive, but really we haven't had a good Western set in a little bit. So hey, before we end this, I got one final question for you, and that is, you got anything brewing for Series 10?
Yeah. I'm gonna see what so they do palette updates. They'll do probably like hopefully one more when Lego releases their sets for beginning of 2026. Then those parts become available to us.
Right.
So I'm going to see what parts, to see if I've got ideas on how to improve on my submission Azure Islands. And then I've got two more that I'm figuring out how to do. One that I'm pretty sure I figured it out, and then another one I need to make sure it's possible.
Okay.
I may actually have to buy parts to
hints at what we might get in addition to
one's nature and one's space.
One's nature's, one's space. All right, that's cool,
and it's nothing I've ever done before. So
okay. Completely new designs.
Yeah, completely new, completely different building techniques than I've done, and then kind of that I've seen. Particularly for one, it's definitely a little different than I always try to. I'm doing my research on one. I've done pretty much my research for the one that I'm pretty sure on how to do. I like to see how other people do different ways of like there's 400 different ways to do trees. Sure. Can I think of a different way to do trees, or am I going to have to mix and match, kind of like what I see other people have already copied from other people, or like with Islanders, I did research into, even though I remember the theme, I did research into, okay, when there's like watchtowers, what color were the posts and the watchtowers? What color were the leaves? What was all included? That's why I have a drum, because the drum was included in the original Islanders. So I'm looking at on the space one in particular. I'm looking at, okay, that's what I'm doing right now, is what are all the different points in space, and how am I going to tie it all together? So we'll see.
That should be interesting. I look forward to it. Hey, and I also want to I have to put this out there for people who watched the entire conversation, because I never once mentioned that the name below me is Rebecca Miller. I told you this, but I didn't tell the viewers that basically I forgot my laptop, and I had to borrow my wife's laptop real quick. So that is why, in case anybody's listening out there is gonna, because I know people are gonna leave comments, that is why it says Rebecca Miller. My lovely, beautiful wife let me borrow her laptop for this little experiment tonight. But man, I gotta say, it was good catching up with you and talking about Series 9 and seeing where it is, and some good speculation on what you think the future holds. I don't think you're far off, man. I really think you're onto something, especially when it's talking about medieval, for sure.
Yeah. I think the programs, people can get, a little upset that their favorite one didn't win or whatever, but it's a different program. It's a great program. And honestly, if you look at the winners, what 4 of them are new. At least I think at least 3 of them are new. Maybe
three are new. Lucky and I can do this. Lucky and Mine the Brick have won before.
Okay, so maybe 2 because I'm not sure. The name doesn't look familiar from the Fisherman's Village, but I think they were brothers that designed that one.
Yeah,
they might
Rock
have,
and Bricks 31. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't, but so you're looking at you have some repeat winners, you have some new winners, so you know it's a good mix. So.
But it is just cool. It's a great program. I have been saying this all along. I think it's one of the best things that Lego has going right now because it shows how many amazing designers are out there and how, it's not just the same team of designers that are building in Billund that are trying to guess what is that we like as consumers. You know what I mean?
And like we said, how many if you look at all the past series and all the future sets that are coming out, how many of those would Lego actually produce? And how often would they be released?
I would hazard a guess to say next to none, honestly.
Yeah, it would be pretty low.
It's kind of like it's the same idea. It's the same principle behind Lego Ideas, right? Like there are a lot of Lego Ideas sets out there that they just simply don't fall into a theme. At least with BrickLink, a lot of these tend to fall in themes, but it's just themes that somehow Lego refuses to bring back.
Yeah. But hey, it's exciting. Always cool. New sets. Always. I said I'm sure they talk about the day that submissions open, how exciting it is to see 400 designs, 400 designs come through. I mean, that's just
it's absurd. And pound for pound, this series I think were the strongest series yet. I think the series are only getting stronger as you go. Like what was submitted in series 1 through 3, the level of builds is nowhere near what we're seeing here in these last couple series.
Well, I think about this a lot, like old minifigs or minifig bodies and legs or torsos and legs and hair and everything that what used to be available, like a year or 2 ago. And now I'm designing something that I'm like, man, wish I would have thought about this about 6 months ago or 8 months ago or, a year and a half ago. I probably would have had a shot. But yeah, if you look at the releases, they are, I mean, some of them would probably get picked anyways, but like if you put Mountain Fortress in with this batch of castles, would it stand out as much?
Right. Probably not.
I don't know.
Probably not. I don't know. It was same with like Mountain Windmill or even like a lot of the Hanwha stuff that I really enjoy may not stand out here. And you have so many more people submitting sets too, which is the other crazy part. So anyway, well, I think we're going to call it here. As always, I really appreciate you. What do you say? When we get towards Series 10, should we do this all again?
Works for me.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you. And everybody, I appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure if you haven't, go check out BrickLink. Go check out the BrickLink Designer Series. Chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, you know a lot about it because I talk a lot about it. But that's because it's an amazing thing, and it definitely deserves your support. If you consider yourself an AFOL out there, this is something that I think is just like, you have to know about. Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah. So anyway, much appreciated, man. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. And everybody else out there, appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.